kind of think about what are those fundamentals in your health that are contributing to better energy stores in a full battery, if you will, versus what are the quick things that maybe you're doing to cut corners on your health where it's bringing you more fatigue.
When you can get yourself on a really good schedule, the next day doesn't feel so groggy. It doesn't feel so negative. And then you're able to make better choices the next day to do things that are fun for you, are more aligned for you. Hey everybody, it's Bianca.
And it's Emilia.
Welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are helping growth-minded humans evolve by breaking one limiting belief at a time. We hope you enjoyed the last episode, number 222. What are your parts and why do they matter? And no, it is not an anatomy class.
Could be easily mistaken.
For today, number 223, Motivation Monday, how to feel less fatigued. We know if you are listening to this, it is Monday. You're probably exhausted because most people hate Mondays. Not a fun time. It's like, going into another week, going into another situation. I got to do everything all over again. So we want to help all of you not have to go through that and learn some simple tools and simple tricks to not feel so drained every Monday. So, Miss Emilia, take it away.
This is my favorite, one of my favorite topics that we talk about, really getting into the brain health stuff. So we often feel fatigued because we are struggling in the concept of what I call energy management. So take me, for example. 3 to 4 years ago, I was someone who, when Mondays rolled around, I would get really hyped up because I'm like so optimistic, like so goal oriented, like, let's crush this week, right? Like, and then what would happen is kind of like the top, you're starting the Monday at like the top of Mount Everest. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see my hand just, it's like a plane and it just crashes by the time noon comes around. Why? Because by that time, typically I would have eaten. I would have drained all of my energy stores that I did have, and then I had nothing left in the tank. And one of the reasons underneath that I want to bring for our listeners all today is primarily not because of the day, but because of the nighttime that happened before. So this is not going to be that episode where I'm going to sit here and be Mama Bear Anya and say, you got to go to bed by 5 o'clock. You got to go to bed by 9 p.m., right? You got to have a bedtime. That's not what this episode is about. But what it is about is what I realized, which was, I could stay up late all night. I could watch my favorite Netflix show at the time. For me back then, it was, what was it? The Seven Kingdoms with Uhtred, son of Babamba. Loved the series. Ask anyone. I adore that. But what do I have to lose was the kind of thought underneath that years ago. And if I'm tired tomorrow, I'll just kind of power through it, right? Get an energy drink here, have a fun conversation with someone, kind of energy vampire siphon the energy off of someone that I have a phone call with, right? Like I'll just, get by. Raise your hand if you've ever felt like that, or if you've ever kind of said, okay, maybe I'll just have a power kale salad on my lunch, right? Like then that will give me the power that I need. Yeah, that has been all of us in one shape or form. But here's the thing, the night before really does set us up for success. And our levels of fatigue come from how conscious we were around our energy stores. So our energy stores, think about it as like the battery charging on your phone. You plug it in every night so that it can perform throughout the day for you, right? We oftentimes don't plug ourselves in, for lack of better words, properly in a way that honors our brain and what it needs. And the brain is the organ within all of the organ systems that we have that monitors how much energy we need and can output on the day to day. And if we're not conscious on our, if you will, plug-in system, or our bedtime, and how we sleep and where we're sleeping and what makes it so powerful for us to get the best REM sleep, we're going to feel like we're on 20% of battery, just like my phone this morning. And then that's going to have an impact throughout the rest of the day. Then we overcorrect with an energy drink. We end up having caffeine way too late in the day. We try to siphon energy off of people and become unconscious energy vampires sometimes. We really need that phone call with a friend, or we really need to go spend time with other people and really absorb the energy because we just feel gassed. Now, I doubt anyone listening to this wants to be an energy vampire. Quick guess. And I am really strongly believing that our listeners want to feel less fatigued. And that can come from anything in terms of what you're eating and how that responds to your body. That can go to what type of energy drinks or water, hydration, all different pillars of your health. And my sole purpose, intention in this episode is to help you kind of think about what are those fundamentals in your health that are contributing to better energy stores in a full battery, if you will, versus what are the quick things that maybe you're doing to cut corners on your health where it's bringing you more fatigue.
One of the other things that I think really keeps people from not doing like the quote unquote best things for them when they are going to bed is this feeling of FOMO, that in some way, if you go to bed early, you're going to miss out on some opportunity, whether it's getting to scroll through your phone or watching a show or missing a fun phone call from a friend or something like that. I think this fear or this idea that, well, going to sleep is boring because why am I going to wake up? Why am I going to go to sleep early just to wake up the next day and do the same thing all over again? But what I've come to see, and what both of us have come to see, is when you can get yourself on a really good schedule, the next day doesn't feel so groggy. It doesn't feel so negative. And then you're able to make better choices the next day to do things that are fun for you, are more aligned for you, or that are going to bring you that sense of energy that you were looking for the night before.
Facts. I want to give an Evolve Venture Society member a shout out. JC DaCosta, and she is so incredible. If you're a part of Evolve Ventures Society on Facebook, our private Facebook, you'll have seen this. If you aren't, definitely click the link in the show notes to become a part of it. She is what I believe what we call a visual storyteller, and she posted I don't know if you would call it a meme, but like a picture that is essentially of an artist that wrote out the letters JOMO. JOMO. One of my favorite words that I try to bring more into the fold of the people that I know, because there is such a big FOMO epidemic, right? There's so many things that are enticing us to watch this now, or look at this notification, or give me your time and energy so that you don't miss out on XYZ. And that's okay, but it drains our willpower. And if we're opening our phones and opening those messages and subjecting ourselves to those at the end of the day, our willpower is already drained. And so it's a lot easier to kind of go down the rabbit hole of, whatever that is, whether it's a show. Like for me, for example, last night I had watched the last movie of Silence of the Lambs, that trilogy. Amazing. Yeah, I know a lot of people have not really a positive relationship with it, but as someone who has studied psychology, I am fascinated by those films. They're amazing. And then after that, it was like probably around 11:30. And then I started immediately going into the luxury real estate realm and watching videos of multi-million-dollar homes. And honestly, time got lost. But that was the bid for my attention. And I'm looking at places in Costa Rica that are multi-million-dollar homes. So whatever that was for you, being mindful of like, oh man, I just sunk my time, my precious time and energy, instead of putting it towards sleep. So we all slide backwards on this. And that's the thing that I want to share here. But the reason why I mentioned JC is because what she had posted there is JOMO. which it stands for the joy of missing out. When you can really celebrate the fact that you're joyful because you missed out and you can own that, it's like a badge of honor. I swear, I wear that all the time. I have joy around missing out on those things that everyone else wants to kind of be in on or fears missing out. And that's the thing. I've been able to bring more control within my life, to have a better bedtime, to have more control over my energy, honestly. And I always am getting these compliments of like, you have amazing energy. Like, it's the reason why is because I have boundaries around some of these things. And that's all possible for all of our listeners. It's boundaries around the time that we go to bed. Yes, your mom, your dad might have been avid about your bedtime. We oftentimes never get a hold of that rebel part of us that's like, F this bedtime. We oftentimes don't reassociate and be like, honestly, this would actually really benefit me to put my phone in a different room before I go to bed, right? To do the little things, the fundamental things that really matter, to hydrate for my brain first thing in the morning so that I can have more control over the choices on my day-to-day that don't drain me. And that compound effect over every single day doesn't catalyze this like Mount Everest, like plane crashing. It's actually, you end up kind of going through these waves, and then over the term of the day, you have way more control.
Well said. Final takeaway and episode suggestion.
I would say my final takeaway on how to feel less fatigued is to reestablish your relationship with bedtime. Because if you have that rebel part being activated because someone told you, it's just like the same thing. If I remember after I got out of school, like I didn't want to read anymore because there was so much forced reading that was shoved down my throat as an academic. And I love learning, but I didn't want to pick up another book after that. So bedtime is very similar. So when we can reestablish our relationship with our bedtime, maybe it was forced down our throat to go to bed at 9 on school nights. And we have a rebel part of ourselves that are like, screw this. Honestly, reestablishing that relationship with your bedtime can help catalyze a positive trajectory to help you feel less fatigued. And my episode suggestion for everyone is 189 Motivation Monday, one simple reason you might be struggling. That actually talks about the energy. So that'll be fun. You?
Episode suggestion 191, how bougie of a sleeper are you?
Chia.
All right, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Happy Monday. If you have not yet left us a review, preferably a 5-star review, if you think that these episodes have been valuable to you, please head over to Apple Podcast and leave us a review. The more that we get, the more people we can reach, and the more all of us can really make an impact on this world. So your review allows other people to get the same impact that you are. So head over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.